Welcome to a lesson with Dr. Powell. Let's take a look at another example of a graph transformation of a trig function. This time, let's do secant. Suppose we have y is equal to 2 times the secant of, and let's do 3x plus pi halves minus 1. Okay, so really what we can do, the same transformations that we're doing to this would be done to a corresponding cosine graph. And then the secant bounces around off the cosine. So really we just need to graph the cosine of all of this, pretending like secant is cosine, and then just do parabolas off of that cosine function like this, roughly, and then put in our asymptotes where they need to be. Okay, so that's kind of the game plan. All right, so we're just going to graph the cosine of this. Now cosine has a period of 2 pi. Now if we do transformations here, notice we'll be dividing by 3. So we do the same thing to the period. So that means that the new period is 2 pi thirds. Now let's think about cosine. Cosine kind of begins its period up here like that as its beginning place. So think about 0, okay? Now think about the x transformations. What's done? Well, the first thing it's done to whittle 3x plus pi halves down to x is you subtract pi halves, and then the next thing you do is you multiply by a third. Okay, so we're going to do that to the original x value of 0. So 0, subtract pi halves. Okay, you get negative pi halves, and then you multiply by a third. So you get negative pi 6. So this graph itself also, this graph begins at negative pi 6, and its period is 2 pi thirds. Okay, so it's like 4 of these pi 6s. So okay, so pi 6. Okay, and then another. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 3. Okay, so pi 6 plus pi 6. So that would be pi thirds, and you have 2 of pi thirds. Okay, so it looks like before you do any y transformations, it's going to look like this. Let's see. Yeah, like that and like that for one period of cosine. Okay, now if you do y transformations, first thing you do is you stretch this. So it's going to be stretched up like that, down to -2, and then up to +2. Okay, and then you subtract 1 to that whole picture. So maybe we'll redraw this so we can get this completely solid here in the graph. Okay, so we're going to end up having from negative pi 6. Oh, okay, yeah, and maybe I'll change my scale a little bit here. Okay, so okay, and let's suppose that's okay, that's 1 down there. Okay, so pi 6 and okay, so then this would come from here because we shifted it down 1, and it would go all the way to it looks like right here. Is that right? No, here. So 1, so 1, 2, so it's 2. Oh, it actually ends right there. Okay, so that's right. So it comes down and oh, but it would cut through right there. That's right? Okay, so it's down one. Okay, so it's actually going to come all the way down to there. So if we're drawing this graph, this would come down like this. So think about this middle line being shifted down as well. So the middle line's right here. This shifts down and it would lower to right there. And then it would come back, hit that middle line right there and be at the top right there. So kind of getting a sense. So that's what the cosine is going to look like. Now, what about the secant? Now, the secant, just parabolas built off of that. The asymptotes are where it intersects the middle line, because all of that's been transformed. And so we end up, then we can draw graphs, parabola, 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 and then erase what's in the middle, and we can get a rough sketch. This sketch is rather rough, but hopefully it gives you an idea of what's happening. Thanks for watching.